Hello everyone, this is my older sister Jamie. It's been a long time since I've posted an unscripted video, but I meant to upload today, and I have been sick, so I didn't want to script, and so I am not doing it. Instead, we're going Instead, we're going to rank book tropes, but like romance tropes, so we can also talk about TV, movie, ships, and things like that. I said in my Love Triangles video that I don't think that it's that useful to rank tropes, and I stand by that. I would never make like a formal video essay about ranking tropes. This is for fun.
Yeah, you love what you love.
We're goofing, we're gaffing, we're just we're saying our preferences, generally speaking. Okay, so we'll do the ranking after a word from our sponsor. El video de hoy es presentado por Babbel. That means today's video is brought to you by Babbel, which is a language learning app. I have been using it to learn Spanish just for self-improvement because a lot of people speak Spanish around here. But Jamie's learning Spanish.
Yeah, because I'm a teacher and I have students that only speak Spanish. So it's really helpful to communicate as you're teaching somebody.
Babbel is the perfect choice for us and you because its award-winning software is proven to get you speaking in as little as 3 weeks, thanks to its speech recognition capabilities, which help to improve pronunciation, and thanks to its lessons being designed by real linguists as opposed to AI.
So if you would also like to learn language, and not just Spanish, they have like all the languages, click the link in my description for up to 65% off of Babbel. Thank you, Babbel. I also, I made my own. I didn't say this. I've made my own tiers and my own tropes to rank. Because, if you go to tiermaker.com and sort through them, you're often ranking specifically fan fiction tropes, which isn't what I think we wanted to rank. Because a lot of it is then just ranking different types of AUs. So coffee shop AU, college AU. And then I could also take out stuff that I didn't think we wanted to rank either, all of them have ABO on there. That's Alpha, Beta, Omega verse. We don't really read Omegaverse, so these are just romance tropes. And some of them, honestly, I wouldn't even qualify as tropes. You have the basics, enemies to lovers, friends to lovers, that's all there. And then you have really specific tropes, like sharing a bed. I have that there. And then some things I would go as far as to say are subgenres. So I've got mafia romance there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know if that's a trope as much as a whole genre of romance. So the tiers here, because there are two of us, right? And usually if you're doing a tier ranking, it's probably just one of you. The whole idea is that we have to agree about where we put them. And if we can't, then it goes in dispute. But also we can decide to put things together in dispute if we are disputing about it within ourselves.
Yes, I don't know where this goes.
We don't know where this goes. Then I named the others strongly agree, somewhat disagree, strongly disagree, because that's kind of how... I don't use on letterboxd half stars because I like to just have 5. I think 5 is the perfect amount. And that's how I always think about it in my head, is strong and somewhat.
Right.
And then you have a middle.
Yeah.
I think it's the perfect number. They're in alphabetical order.
Oh.
Age gap.
If there's hundreds of years between them, it's fine.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about that.
Because ACOTAR.
I wasn't even thinking about vampires.
Yeah, vampires.
Stuff.
The Edward and Bella age gap. That doesn't bother me. But then if it's a 20-year-old and a 40-year-old, I'm ooh, that's different.
I wasn't even thinking about mythological age gaps, but those don't bother me really either. Mainly just because it's so removed from reality that you're not even this is comparable to something that really happened. When it comes to contemporary age gaps, I don't really mind them unless I feel the author is veering into taboo territory on purpose. Yeah. So it's fine if your characters just happen to have an age gap, even a pretty severe one, as long as they're meeting as adults. I keep reading books where they met and I don't know going in because I often don't read summaries. I just see somebody recommend it and then go in. They met when when one of them was underage and there was some altercation and then they meet years later, and I'm not wild about that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why did you choose that?
My opinion on the age gap mostly is I'm not going to not read it if there's an age gap, but I'm not going to read it because there is an age gap.
Interesting.
Like, if it's on the back of the book, there's this age gap, I'm like...
Because that's supposed to be the appeal.
Right. I feel like it most of the time does not affect the story a lot. And if it does affect the story...
Then you're using it weirdly.
Yeah. Like, it shouldn't.
I feel you. I agree with that. If it doesn't matter, then it's just age is just a number. But if you're making it a part of the plot, then you're kind of probably inherently being weird about it.
Yeah. If it's advertised, like if you're like, there's a video, like a TikTok, and they're like, here's the tropes in my book. You're going to like my book because it has these tropes. If it says age gap, like, I'm going to somewhat disagree. Because if that's they're advertising that, like, I'm not as interested in that.
Because if we're ranking tropes, then even our take on when we like age gap is like when it's not a big deal.
Lower, yeah.
So, like... I agree with you. And I was actually kind of worried that we're going to veer too heavily towards liking everything.
a lot of tropes.
Yeah, so we have to take somewhat disagree when we can. Almost kiss.
I love an almost kiss.
Okay.
Personally. Because I like the tension and the build-up more than the actual spice.
Yeah, for real. I would say I'm not wild about them. And not because I agree, I like the build-up better. It's not because, like, it's, like, so frustrating. Like, why didn't they just kiss? I feel like that's why a lot of people would dislike it. I don't mind the frustration. But I feel like them similarly how I feel about jump scares in that way. Because there are good jump scares. But generally in a horror movie, I would like to see the tension build and build and build and no release. Yeah. I feel like an almost kiss is almost like a release.
I still love it. There is an almost kiss in my book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that. Sorry. That was what I meant to tell you when I introduced Jamie as well, is that she has written a book, which I'm about to start beta reading for her, which is a fantasy romance.
Yeah, YA fantasy romance.
Called High Ground.
High Ground, about giants and fae. And other things too, but they're not in the first book.
It's a dual perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And she's...
Enemies to lovers trope.
Oh, yeah. She's talking about it on TikTok, so I would follow her on TikTok to hear more about that. Oh, I just kind of started moving this here because I think that we disagree about it. Arranged marriage.
I feel like I haven't been exposed to this trope a lot.
Really?
Like,
that surprises me.
I've read or seen a lot of, like, the marriage of convenience.
I didn't include marriage of convenience because I kind of thought we should talk about them all together.
Okay. Because marriage of, like, convenience versus, like, arranged of, like...
arranged is more forced and convenience is more like, this would be good for both of us.
I think I like other things more. Like, other love stories more.
Yeah, like, you don't go seeking out arranged marriage.
Right.
I actually really expected you to be into arranged marriage.
Really?
I don't know why. I think it's kind of a popular one.
Yeah.
But me too, I can't say I'm wild about it. And it's not... I'm trying to think of an arranged marriage story that I'm, like, gung-ho about. I love that.
Right. I can think of 2 book series I've read. One was, like, arranged marriage. Like, she was a princess who's gonna have to marry a prince.
Uh-huh.
But then they didn't end up getting married. She was a runaway bride. So would that be considered arranged?
Well, if they didn't fall in love?
Like, they did, eventually. But she ran away from
I think that still counts as the trope.
And then...
And did you love it?
Yeah.
What book was it?
That was a spoiler. But I like that one, and then also the ones I was talking about yesterday.
Oh, the Disneyland one?
Yeah, the Dreamland. It was the terms and conditions is a marriage of convenience trope. The thing with the arranged marriage ones that I like, there's tropes that go into it. Like, terms and conditions is, like, the boss and assistant relationship, too.
Oh.
Or, like, the love triangle trope is the one that makes me love the love story.
Huh.
The fact that they were supposed to get married doesn't. Like, I feel like arranged marriage on its own, just like if they were placed in a marriage and then fell in love, is less entertaining than all the other things.
Well, it's especially weird because, like, in real life, I would say I'm actually, like, open-minded about arranged marriage because I think it is so successful in, like, India and stuff.
Yeah. Like there's cultures where
like,
it's very popular.
There are cultures where like marriage isn't about love to begin with, and then like it's all about commitment and partnership, and like I can get behind that idea. But I guess maybe that's the problem, is that often arranged marriage in books isn't like so much about telling like the slow story of two people who are committed to getting to know each other. It's about people who like hate each other and don't want to be in that position at all, and then it just feels a little bit too much. Like, and even though they had so many moral objections to arranged marriage, they ended up okay with it because they fell in love. Like, it seems like it's like cure-all to like the actual disagreement they had with having to be, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that is just arranged. If we're talking marriage of convenience, then it's different if they're like willingly going into it. But either way, I wouldn't put it in either of the top two because it's.
I think it's definitely a bottom 2 trope.
But I wouldn't say I strongly hate it.
Like if there's an arranged marriage, I'm not gonna like not like the story.
Okay.
Wow.
We're so haters. I genuinely we have so much good stuff coming. I genuinely think we're not gonna have very much stuff down here. And actually now I'm worried that anything we kind of dislike is still just only here. We're not gonna be like, I hate that. I don't know.
There's some that I might hate. But I haven't seen the list. I don't know what's on there.
Banter.
Top tier.
Yeah.
There's no argument.
Well, because like it's hard to imagine romance that I really love that doesn't have banter. Like it's almost a necessary ingredient at a certain point.
Yeah, 100%.
It's what Anastasia and Dimitri taught me.
I think about them all the time. I think about tropes. I'm like, enemies to lovers.
Yeah, they have it all. They have it all. And their banter is really the best thing in the entire world. Love them so much. Billionaire. What did that mean?
I like the billionaires.
I could take them or leave them, really.
Yeah, I mean, I love love stories pretty much anyway. So if there's a billionaire, like,
it doesn't really matter.
Power to him, yeah. Like, it's not gonna make or break the book. I'm not gonna read it because it's a millionaire.
Yeah, like some people seek. I guess we have to be ranking these though in like terms of like, would you seek them out? Like how we talked about with age gap,
right?
Because like my thing is, I've read books where they happen to be a billionaire, but I'm never gonna like search on Amazon billionaire books, rich man. Because usually the thing about them, my first thought is like 50 Shades of Grey, is that you end up with this like catch-22 of they want the wish fulfillment of ending up with the rich man, but also like don't want to make the protagonist seem like a gold digger. So they like jump through these hoops of like, oh no, don't buy me that, and then they buy it for them anyway. And they're like, I wish you didn't buy me that. Like I don't. But
like,
that.
Let's be real. We all want.
Yeah.
Like, we want you to buy us that.
No, if I ended up in a relationship with a billionaire, I'd be like, yes, buy me everything, please. And also, you know, solve world hunger.
It's not a sell point or a no-go for me.
Yeah, sure. Okay, that's how I feel too. Whatever with the billionaire. We don't care. Bodyguard.
I don't know. I feel like younger me would have loved this.
And generally, I would say Bodyguard is something I like better in theory than in practice.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always like my ears perk up, like Bodyguard, and then like I actually read it and I'm not that into it. All right, so I'm really surprised. We have good stuff coming. I'm like, I expected us to be up here exclusively, but I'm feeling like this is somewhere. But again, it's not like...
Yeah, hey, I'm not going to not read it if they end up with their Bodyguard, but I also feel like I'll probably not ship them as much.
It's almost like the same thing as Billionaire for us, I feel like. Where it's not like we have as much negative to say as here, but it's...
Right.
Like, we're not seeking it out.
Yeah.
Bully romance.
Oh. I don't know.
I included this one, like, specifically so that we could have something else to dislike. Because I thought we would have way too much stuff to like.
See, I love a couple of bully romances, but I hate the bullying part of it.
Okay. So, like, what are the bully romances
So,
like?
there's the Cruel Prince series, when you have Cudney and June, and he's not nice to her, but she's not nice to him either.
So, is that even bullying, or is it just enemies?
I mean, it's bullying.
Oh, okay.
It's bullying.
Okay.
And then the Zodiac Academy series. And the hard part about that one is like the whole first like 3 books is like straight bullying. Like anybody I've talked to that's read those has like stopped reading after the first 3 because they can't handle the bullying because that's what it is the whole time. And then you get to like book 4 and on and you like fall in love with the bullies. And it's like, what?
What?
Like, and like you love the characters. And it is so weird.
I haven't read either of those. My first thought when it comes to bully romance is this old Wattpad book. It's like one of the most popular ones. They made an episode story out of it, The Bad Boys Girl, where it's about there was the guy who bullied this girl like back in middle school, and then he moves to town and he's surprised that she's like skinny now or something. But I don't remember what I thought of that. And probably if I read it now, I would think it was terrible. Yeah. But probably in this category, there is something I really love. Which is the movie and musical. The musical is based on the movie Dogfight. Do you know Dogfight?
Yeah. I don't think I would read like a first book. I don't think I'd read a bully romance if the whole series isn't completed yet.
Interesting.
Because I get very upset at the bullies. And so I need to read the rest for that redeeming part in order to like that book.
You think like here?
Yeah.
Like we generally dislike it, but maybe Celebrity. It didn't show up.
I don't know. I think Celebrity falls in the same area as Billionaire for me. But I actually cannot think of one I've read that's Celebrity.
Really?
Yeah. Like no TV shows or movies where this happens. Like Starstruck.
Oh.
Disney Channel.
I bet it is more common in like movies and stuff.
Yeah.
But my thing
with a celebrity.
I've actually sought out celebrity romances before. It would be the perfect fake dating scenario if you have to do a publicity stunt relationship. Yeah. And I feel like I can never. So I've sought that out before. I look for this stuff, and I've never really loved any of it. It just never. I don't know what So I have, I guess, a weird relationship with this one. I specifically want a really good version of it, and actually, you know what I need to read is Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I don't know like exactly what the plot is there, but the people, they love that one. So I bought it. I have it on my bookshelf. I just haven't gone around to it yet. I'm pretty sure. Well, I know that they're celebrities, the characters, right?
I have no idea.
They're celebrities, but I don't know what the plot is because it says 7 husbands, but I believe that it's a sapphic romance. So my thought was that she had like publicity stunt relationships and then was like a secret lesbian. But that's what I gather from just like what I've seen online. I don't know what the plot is until I read that one. I don't have. You know what else I need to read that could be a good celebrity romance that people recommend to me a lot is Daisy Jones and the Six.
Oh yeah, I just think celebrity romance. I just go back to like old Disney Channel. You have like Starstruck, and you have like another Cinderella story, and like
even like Hannah Montana.
Yeah,
like just stuff
where
like
there's
that.
like this celebrity and the normal girl. I feel like it's a very young trope. Like, as an adult, I don't care about the celebrity.
Because I guess I also think of a lot of, like, One Direction fan fiction. Yeah. I never even read One Direction fan fiction, but back in the day on, like, Wattpad, it just seeped into everything. There were tons of original stories about falling in love with boy bands, like, fictional boy bands. And so I would read some of that, like, in middle school, but I just feel past that now. Like, I don't need to end up with a celebrity.
Right. Like, I'm not driven. Like, if you were to say it's a celebrity romance, like, what else? Is it a forced marriage celebrity romance? Is it an enemies to lovers? Like, because
even when I say I seek out the fake dating one, it's because, like, I like fake dating, but I need it to have, like, a really good reason for them to be fake dating. Yeah. And that would be a good reason. It's like, it's not because of the celebrity. Yeah. So I sounds like we don't really like
we don't like celebrities very much.
I'm so surprised how heavy we are down here. I can't believe this. I really thought that we would be, like, toxically positive right now. Cheating.
No.
Is
this a trope that people like?
Well, probably not a lot of people, but I like cheating. It depends. It depends. Okay, maybe I don't. Yeah, actually, I was gonna say I like cheating. I like songs about cheating.
Yeah. I like the angst after effects.
Yeah.
But the actual, like, they're cheating, I just don't.
It's hard to, like, rectify in your mind, like, while they're doing it. It's like, you're doing bad, stop, but that's bad. You're doing the bad thing.
If somebody is, like, promoting their book with cheating as a trope, I feel like I'm not gonna like that book.
Yeah, and I don't think people do promote it with cheating. Okay, yeah, actually, I'm feeling...
Yeah.
Okay.
Put it down there.
It's enemies to lovers.
This is my favorite trope.
It didn't show up.
Feels too good. Strongly agree. If it's enemies to lovers, I am 100% more likely to read that book or watch that movie.
Yeah, I feel like they need like real good reasons to hate each other, whether that's because they disagree about something like morally, or they are like rivals academically, or they are...
In my book, they come from different species. And the rebellion group killed the queen's mom.
Established relationship. So this is actually more applicable to like fan fiction, but I did include it because like generally this would be when somebody makes a fan fiction of a ship and they just jump right into them already in a relationship. So like this is like if you're reading a romance novel about like a pre-existing couple and they have a drama, and that's what the book is about, but they're already together at the start of the book. Or like TV wise, a couple that is together from the jump, like Marshall and Lily sort of deal.
Because I feel like I like established relationships, but like kind of like the Lily and Marshall thing, like they're main characters, they're very involved in the story, but it's not their story.
Yeah.
But I like to read the falling in love part.
Yeah.
That's what I love.
If you're seeking out a romance book, you want to read about them falling in love.
The falling in love process, yeah. I mean, and then there's some that are like, in the sequel, there's an established relationship or whatever.
Oh, and I actually don't like that either.
Yeah.
It depends, actually. If it was planned, like a series from the beginning, then like, sure, they're an established relationship in book 2. I don't like when the book was so successful that they make a sequel and then they like have to come up with conflict in their happy relationship. Like if you give them a happily ever after and then write a sequel,
the happily ever after.
We're mostly saying no, but like sure, maybe everyone can see it.
Oh, but
yeah, this is
I like this one too. Because like as a reader, like when I feel that, I'm like, why are you like not just enough? No, or you are in love, but like why aren't you admitting it?
When like they get teased, like okay, lovebirds, and then they're like, no, not us, you. But yeah, okay. I'm probably putting it here too. I'm worried about this. Are we just like hit or miss? Like,
I feel like we'll get.
Do we have anything we're lukewarm about?
I feel like I do.
Fake dating.
I would say this is a somewhat agree.
Me too!
Because it's like, I will read it if it's fake dating. And I love fake dating.
I said in my Love Triangles video that we shouldn't hate tropes just for being overdone, but at this point I'm actually really starting to feel like we're doing too much fake dating out there in the book world, mainly because I think it's being forced into stories where it like doesn't need to be. So like my biggest example of this is the second in like the Brown sisters trilogy. What's the Danny book? It's called like Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Take a Hint, Danny Brown. The second one has a fake dating relationship, but it's very weird to me because they already like each other from like chapter 1, which I think it's refreshing sometimes when the characters just like each other and then get together.
But then you don't need
don't need forced proximity. Like they were just actually dating. They were just actually dating. They like
what about when one person likes them but the other doesn't? Yeah, because that was the Love Hypothesis, which I love, but it's one of them always had feelings, but you don't find that out until like the end. But
was that one fake dating?
Yeah.
Wasn't it a Raylo fanfic?
Yeah.
But you like Raylo. Okay, yeah, I feel good about that. We like fake dating, but I feel like it just you need to have a really good reason for them to be fake dating. Forbidden.
I like a forbidden romance too.
I'm trying to think. It's like a Romeo and Juliet sort of deal. Our families hate each other sort of deal. And then what else? So, you know what counts as forbidden? I also have it here is probably like siblings' best friend stuff. Just anything where there's a reason somebody doesn't want them together. Right. Oh, some like workplace romances. If there's like a contract stipulation that there's no fraternizing. It's
like forbidden romance could be like a lot of time too is like hidden romance. Like they're dating, but
secret relationship. I think I might have that one too. I definitely like a lot of forbidden romances, but it's also not like my number one trope.
Right.
Oh yeah, I was talking about how if the characters like each other from the beginning, I don't see the need for fake dating. I think that if the characters like each other from the beginning, then a really good trope for them is forbidden romance. Forced proximity. Forced proximity to me is like a necessary ingredient for things like enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
But it's not necessary for everything. Like if you're doing friends to lovers, they don't need to be forced to do like a school project together. They don't need to be forced to do this or that together. It depends just on what the relation of the characters are.
Yeah, I would put somewhat agree. Because I really like forced proximity when it's done well. So like if it is like enemies to lovers, like okay, well how does that happen? Because of forced proximity.
Yeah, it can get convoluted when there is no need for them to be forced together.
Yeah, like proximity is obviously important. But forced proximity is
it's like a situational need.
Choice but to do.
All right, I feel good about that too. Friends to lovers.
I like a good friends to lovers too. I like enemies to lovers more.
Friends to lovers, I've decided is like my jam.
Yeah, I really like friends to lovers.
And also what I will say about friends to lovers is I think that it ideally should be a step along the way for like every other type. So like enemies to friends to lovers.
That's what my point is. I agree with that. Because it like enemies to lovers is the big jump.
Yeah.
Like you need to have respect. I also like my own life, like me and Cameron, we're friends to lovers. So it's like I enjoy that trope. Yeah. But then you also don't ship some friends to lovers. Like I was always Team Gale.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't. I don't have to ship every friends to lovers for it to be my favorite. Okay, for me, this is friends with benefits.
I don't know. This one's not one of my favorites.
Really?
I don't mind it. I feel like with this, you automatically are going into a spicy level.
Huh.
And spicy, like I love a good spicy book, but I like when there's plot with spice instead of spice with plot.
I love a friends with benefits story. And I wouldn't even say they're usually like that smutty. I recently read a book by the same one who did The Unhoneymooners. Have you read that?
No, it's on my bookshelf upstairs.
What, Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating? It was cute. I really liked it. And they had like a friends with benefits to lovers thing. And in a way it goes hand in hand with friends to lovers. I think somewhat agree.
Yeah, we can put it there.
Well, should we put it in dispute?
Sure. Did that like break your heart?
We can't just put things where I want them. But for me, everyone, this is height difference.
I don't know. Maybe it's just like the tall girl in me where it's like
oh,
these guys all the time are, you know. Oh, the short girls.
And my thought was I don't even mind which way it goes. Like first of all, there are non-het pairings, but like I don't mind if the girl is taller than the guy. I like a difference there.
Guys, like if you are advertising because there's a height difference, like your store's probably lacking in something. I'm not gonna love a couple more because they have a height difference.
So I think
have one, it's fine.
You're in somewhat disagree. I would be in somewhat agree. So let's just put it here.
Yeah.
Insta-love. No, Insta-love is a weird one because I don't even know if anybody advertises their books as Insta-love because I think that this is more used as an insult. When someone who just meets you thinks that you are their soulmate and want to spend the rest of their lives with you. Okay, so it's sort of like love at first sight.
Yeah.
But did I also include love at first sight? Give me a second. Let's just not do that and let's just do love at first sight.
Yeah.
Because that's a more flattering way to look at it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think a lot of people don't like this, at all. I would defend it. I was feeling kind towards it when I was doing my Cinderella ranking. Like, when it's done well, like, I really love, like, just, like, they walk into the room and then the other character, like, looks at them and they're like, wow, that is the one for me. Like, that is some hot stuff right there. I actually start to like that more just as I get tired of things being so contrived in order to achieve like fake dating or enemies to lovers. Yeah. Like if it's natural for the characters, like this is why Hyacinth's Bridgerton book is my favorite. If the characters just like each other, like from the jump, that's cute and fun to me.
Right. I think I like it more when it's not necessarily love, like that's my person. Like, and I just know because I'm looking at him. Whereas it's like, that's person's intriguing to me. Part of my story is like, they're supposed to be enemies, but they don't feel that way. When they like get, like not even getting to know each other, but just on a, like, so as soon as they see each other.
It might also be kind of forbidden.
Yeah. Because as soon as they see each other, it's not love. They're not like in love, but they're like, there's more to that person that I haven't been told. Because they've been told that they're enemies and that they're like, no, that person is, they're more complex than what everyone told me.
If we think of this more as like intense feelings at first sight, then are we thinking some would agree?
Yeah.
Love triangle.
Love triangle.
I thought that you would maybe not like them.
You think a lot of things.
Sorry.
Like,
well, actually, yeah, in hindsight, I don't know why I would think that, because we like a lot of books that have love triangles. I made a whole video about them. Have you watched that video?
Yeah.
It's like, obviously sometimes they can be annoying, especially when like it's contrived, when you feel like the publisher was like, put a love triangle in there so that like the audience picks sides or whatever. But a lot of the time, like in a romance setting, it just makes a lot of sense, because like in real life, as far as drama with romance goes, like conflicts that naturally occur, love triangles are like the bulk of them.
Yeah, I have a love triangle.
Two people liking the same person. Oh yeah. I also still wouldn't say like I am excited about it in the same way I am these. Like,
right, but I somewhat agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Like for me, if they're advertising and they're like, this is a enemies to lovers and friends to lovers love triangle. Like, that's great.
Interesting.
You know, like you have those strongly agree ones, and then your love triangle adds to that.
And you know what? Like how you were saying, like, it's weird that I like this, but I don't like Gail. Probably the one thing that is weird about my love for friends to lovers, I would say I prefer it to enemies to lovers, like, in general. But in a love triangle, I probably do lean towards an enemies to lovers.
Well, that's what the series was. Because
in a love triangle setting, the friend is usually framed as like, I've known you forever, you have to cheat. Like, they just don't really lead into it as well. Mafia romance.
I haven't ever read a mafia romance.
That was my thought when I put it there. I was like, I don't even know what we're gonna say.
Like, I know they're very popular.
It's like,
and I'm not like against a mafia romance, but I also feel like
not our thing.
It's not my thing.
Yeah. Well, because first of all, like, even if we're not talking romance, if we're talking like mafia movies, I don't really like those.
I've never seen like The Godfather.
Dad made me watch The Godfather. I went to the theater and watched there was an intermission. It's extremely long.
Oh.
I think it was The Godfather Part 2. I watched The Godfather to prepare. And like, I respect the filmmaking of it. I understand. It's a great classic movie. Yeah. Not my thing. And like the clip of Peter Griffin saying, so have you seen that? Yeah. Where he's like, I don't like The Godfather, that's how I feel. And the closest I've really gotten to reading a mafia romance would be like Wattpad stories I read in middle school, where in the end it's revealed that the bad boy is in like a gang, and then like the girl gets kidnapped and like some crazy stuff. And I feel like that's the appeal of a mafia romance, is like you're falling in love with like the mob boss, and then people are like coming for your neck trying to get revenge, and like you're being protected by like the mafia guys.
I would say strongly disagree.
It's not a strongly disagree.
Like I'm not against it. I know people like it, but like as a selling point for me, I'm not gonna buy a book because you tell me it's a mafia romance.
For sure. Like I would say I'm less likely to read it than any of these.
Like I enjoy bully romances. I've read that. I've read Arranged. Like I've read all the other ones. I've never read a mafia romance.
We don't judge you for liking mafia romance. We don't. Miscommunication. Heavily.
I feel like a lot of people hate miscommunication. I don't mind it. There's certain points where it's like, okay, yeah, this is annoying. Like, why aren't you communicating? But then also, it's like, that's really realistic. Like, a lot of people suck at communication.
A perfect example of the miscommunication trope would be in all sorts of movies and books or whatever, when somebody writes somebody a letter and then, like, it gets lost and they don't know. Stuff like that is a perfect way to, like, build drama and tension and keep them apart for a little bit longer, even when they don't have to, like, be mean to each other. Because if you're not doing miscommunication in moments like those, like they do it in Anne with an E, they do it in Love, Rosie, the letter thing is, like, what immediately comes to mind. If they're not doing that, they have to be doing something else, like having the characters get in fights.
Like, nobody has to do anything wrong in a miscommunication trope. Like, you don't have to go back on character development. You don't have, like, but it happens.
Have you watched Normal People or read it?
No.
Okay. So, the thing about Normal People is, like, the big conflict in it is a miscommunication. The male lead is poor. and the female lead is rich, and they're in college, and she's living in this place, and he has to leave college for financial reasons. And so he's thinking he wants to ask to live with her because they're like in a relationship, but he's too embarrassed to ask because he's like poor, and like he doesn't. There's like a class dynamic there. So he just kind of tells her, "Well, I'm gonna have to leave for financial reasons," hoping that like she's gonna in that conversation understand that he's like inadvertently asking, and that like she'll offer for him to live with her. But she takes it as he's breaking up with her in that moment, so she's like, "Great, you're leaving, bye." Like she gets mad about it, and that like to me is a really like good conflict. Like it builds off of like class issues in real life. It builds off of like their ability to talk to each other. Like it just seems realistic to me.
I think this communication, a lot of people hate it for no reason. Because it's frustrating to read, because like as a reader or as a viewer, you're like, no, but this is the situation. But like realistically, like it's a great story element, and it makes you want to keep reading because you.
Yeah, well, because that's the thing. When you're reading and you're feeling frustrated, like it's a good thing.
That's what you should be feeling in a book.
And obviously there are times when it goes too far. Like I would say, I don't like it when somebody is trying to like tell the truth of a situation, but they're getting like shut down. So are we thinking someone agree?
Yeah.
Because it's still not something like if you advertise
I'm
miscommunication.
like, I love a book with miscommunication.
Miscommunication makes me so excited. We're just defenders of it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. People are not going to agree with us having love triangle and miscommunication up here.
No, you know what?
But this
is
our
not
business.
their chart.
You make your own chart.
Yeah.
Actually, I might go on Tiermaker and put these on there.
Oh, so
you guys can do this. And if I do that, I'll put it in like a pinned comment or something. Mutual pining. Necessary.
I don't like the word pining.
You don't like the word pining?
I don't know.
Well, okay, what's a better word for it to reframe this?
Well, no.
Longing.
This is what it is pining.
Longing.
It just feels very, like, desperate.
Languishing.
See, that sounds very desperate.
What?
Like depressing.
It does actually. Well, that's why my thought was
sickened.
Yeah, these actually do sound pretty bad. Yearning, pining, craving.
See, but it is pining and longing.
See, but this is more the connotations I'm thinking of. Less sickening. You're so desperate. It's yearning, craving, eagerness, burning. I think that mutual pining is kind of like necessary.
Yeah, I mean you have to want each other.
Yeah, especially if you're doing like a slow burn. You
it adds to the tension to it, which is what I love.
Wait, so I'm thinking something like here.
Yeah, I agree. I love nicknames.
Nicknames.
That's top tier for me.
It does not. It did not.
The top tier ones don't show up.
Me too. I love nicknames.
I love a good nickname.
It's kind of a cliche at this point, but calling them by their last name until the very end when you're being emotional and you say the first name.
Like there's something special about saying that whole name.
Yeah.
It's
Or just a nickname they're annoyed with. Like the classic one would be calling princess, and they're like, don't call me princess.
Like if they were like on TikTok and like here's the tropes in my book, nicknames, I'd be like, I'm way more interested in your book now. Which is stupid because it's a name,
small element.
But it's I love the little details like that.
On and off.
I don't love on and off.
I guess it kind of depends on the form, because obviously we're mostly talking about books. In books, on and off would seem like really on and off because it's like a book. Like if you're doing a TV show,
like long period of time.
But even then, on and off can get really tiring in like a Ross and Rachel sort of way. It's like just decide, please. Because even my slow burns, will they or won't they? I prefer to be like they don't get together until like
will they, won't they is totally different than on and off. Because will they, won't they is all like you thinking they will, or like
I think I have will they, won't they as well.
Like it's all about building the tension. On and off is like what you said, where you get the tension and then you go away from it, and then
and it just makes them seem like inherently dysfunctional. Like I would say I dislike it more than you're thinking here.
Yeah, we can put it down there.
Where are we?
Opposites attract. I like opposites attract. Like the sunny, grumpy, or...
Usually it's an element in enemies to lovers. Unless, actually, enemies to lovers is often they're really similar and they don't see it as well.
I feel like, you really can go both ways in enemies to lovers. But I also love friends to lovers that are opposites attract more than the friends are like the exact same. Yeah. Like when it's the grumpy friend and the sunny friend and they just
that's cute.
fall in love. Like not every couple needs to be opposites. but when it makes sense for it to be there.
Partners in crime.
I mean, I like partners in crime too.
Me too.
Like
You always say two because I guess I look at you like, this one's one of my favorites. What are you gonna say?
I really like forced proximity partners in crime, where they're like forced to be partners.
I almost like it the opposite when they're like, it's more friends to lovers, partners in crime.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
I really like partners in crime.
Like this much?
I would put more on some would agree, but if you put it on strongly agree, like I could justify that. There's a lot of books where I feel like that is a trope. I just don't think about it being a trope.
Yeah.
Like a lot of books, they're working towards the same goal.
Because like I would classify Dimitri and Anastasia and Flynn Rider and Rapunzel as partners in crime. They're out on the...
Yeah, and those are my favorite.
So you're cool with
that?
Yeah,
here. I'm cool with
I
that.
feel like we just talked ourselves into it.
Yeah.
Pregnancy.
Oh, again, it's something a lot of people don't like, but if it's done well,
yeah,
I love it. Like in Twilight, I think it adds to the story a lot.
What?
In Breaking
I thought you were
Dawn.
going to say you hated it in Twilight.
No, like in Breaking Dawn, that adds to the story a lot. Like the entire plot is that.
I'm like shocked that your positive example of pregnancy is
Was
Breaking
Twilight?
Dawn.
I don't know. I feel like there's not. I don't read a lot of pregnancy
Well, I guess
tropes.
the way that you said it was because the whole story is about that. That's my thing with pregnancy is it's often like tacked onto the end of a book.
It's always in the epilogue. There's just suddenly
Yeah, but
maybe-
not even like just the epilogue. Like the last couple chapters of that Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. The one thing I was like, the last couple chapters she got pregnant. Spoiler alert. And I was like, it just sort of seems like if you're going to do it, like it should probably be the plot of the book.
Yeah. Because I also do love like when at the end of a series, like if there is like an epilogue and it's happily ever after, and there's kids or family, like you see. But usually I like it when it's like they've talked about that in the story too.
Yeah.
Or like they've talked about, our life one day will be this.
So, but I'm still not thinking like,
No,
yay, I'm
yeah.
thinking like that.
Yeah. I would say you could even put it in dispute just because I feel like I'm not going to read or not read it because of a pregnancy
You know what,
trope.
I was thinking, I would have some negative things to say about it in terms of like when it is sprung on you.
Right. If it's done well, then I really like it.
Yeah.
But you can do it wrong easily.
Rain kiss.
Oh, I love a rain kiss.
Originally, I had like tons of different types of kisses, and I was like, maybe we don't have to be putting those all in there. Like forehead kiss, cheek kiss, hand kiss.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real, I love all the kisses.
Yeah, I was like, we'll just put these all in the same place. But rain kiss seems like such a specific.
Yeah, like it's a moment. Like it's not like a romantic. It's usually like a fight or like a dramatic.
I don't know. Sometimes it could be. My favorite rain kiss is probably A Cinderella Story because like they build this whole motif around there being a drought. Waiting for you was like waiting for rain in this drought, and then he says, "Sorry, I made you wait for the rain," and then they kiss. It was the first kiss of the thing. Like I love that one because like they kind of built the entire thing around that rain kiss.
Yeah.
But they often do happen like in the heat of a fight.
Right. They're very passionate kisses.
The show I think of when I think of rain kisses though is One Tree Hill, and I think they overuse rain kisses. Yeah. They give every couple a rain kiss and every couple multiple rain kisses. They would kiss in the rain on One Tree Hill, and I feel like you need to save it for impact.
Yeah. It's an impact moment for sure.
Well, like it's like I kind of want to put it here, but then these just seem so much more important to me than rain kiss.
Right. Like if a story doesn't have like banter, right? If a story doesn't have banter, I don't like that story. If a story doesn't have a rain kiss, like whatever.
Okay, you didn't have a rain kiss.
Yeah.
But then I mean, you look at things like I won't be annoyed if it doesn't have nicknames either.
Yeah. Personally, never like read a rain kiss or seen a rain kiss that I didn't like. There's been rain kisses that aren't as impactful, but it's not like you shouldn't be kissing right now.
Let's put it here if we're not sure.
Okay.
Second chance romance. So this is like my first thought always is Persuasion, the Jane Austen novel. Which isn't my favorite one of hers.
Yeah. I don't know. This is one that's like I haven't had a lot of exposure to, I feel like.
I would consider Dad's favorite High Fidelity second chance romance. So like sometimes it's after a long time jump and like they're coming back to somebody they dated when they were young. But oftentimes it's also like if a story starts with a couple like in a fight and then they're making up. So it's also kind of an established relationship sometimes.
Yeah.
But usually I would say it's like they have a history.
Yeah.
And then they get together. And I would say I'm not huge on it either.
Yeah.
Because for the same reason that we were talking about established relationship, it's like I want to witness the falling in love.
Yeah.
Like if you're honestly, you know what is a kind of a second chance romance is The Notebook. But and the movie kind of does the whole love story. So they start when they're teens, they take us through the time, and then when they're adults.
Yeah, but
the book just kind of, the book does the same thing in that you get all of that story, but it mostly summarizes their teenage years. And then the actual, like, linear part of the book where you get dialogue and stuff, it isn't just summary, it's just when they're adults.
Yeah.
So I prefer, like, if you're going to tell a story that spans years, I prefer something like Love Rosie or One Day, where you get all of the years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily love it just as backstory.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah. Like I said, I don't have a ton. Like, I haven't seen a whole lot of Second Chance, but I would agree.
And that makes me feel like just somewhat.
Yeah.
Why did we put this one here? Oh, because we disagreed.
Yeah.
That
You
was
were
the
like, I love this.
That was the one where I said if it were up to me. It's just funny because, like, the rest of these, I really feel like we're in line,
yeah.
and I'm like I'm looking at this and I feel fine about it. But that one I was like, why is that all the way down there? What are we doing? Secret identity. So this could be like a billionaire or like a celebrity if they, or like a prince if they don't tell you who they are right away.
The one that comes immediately, like, there's so many of these, but I think about the Red Queen series, which is really popular, and one of the princes was a secret identity. Like, they met with the secret identity, and then they met later when he was the prince. And it was like, oh.
So like in Aladdin.
But I think there's so many books that have secret identity.
It's also not, like, when we think about that, for me it's like, oh, okay, so sometimes I've liked it, but it's also not something I would ever seek out.
I'd say we could put it in dispute.
So you like it a lot?
I really like secret identity. This is the one that, like, I think is going to be the opposite of friends with benefits. Like, you would put down and I would put
really?
higher. Yeah. Like, I really enjoy when, like, they don't know.
That's interesting. All right, that's
So
that's
for
your
my
one
chart,
to feel
it
sad.
would go up.
That's your one to feel sad about. Where are we?
Shared bed.
Shared bed.
I feel like this one, for me, is like when you read, like, a fantasy or, like, that genre, like, that's where the trope is. And then in more, like, the, like, just contemporary romance, that they make fun of the shared bed trope. At least in ones that I've read. For me, it's like, if it's there, it's there. But I'm not like, oh, you have the one bed trope, I'm in love.
For me, it's one of those ones that's been, like, so praised.
Yeah.
To where, like, they're using it too much. And, like, I don't think I could really, truly enjoy it in a book anymore. Because when I get it, I'm like, the shared bed, okay, cute. I also wouldn't say I dislike it at all. I'm just trying to explain why I don't feel like I should put it here or here.
Yeah. I feel like it can be, I don't know.
So are you feeling this?
In dispute, yeah.
Sibling's best friend.
I feel like I also have not seen a lot of this.
Really?
Like, I very much, like, I know it exists. I think the concept of it is very cute.
I was trying to, like, unpack why I like this trope, because I do. And it's weird, because I think it's mostly a forbidden romance thing.
Yeah.
But then I can easily get annoyed by the forbidden part if I don't understand why the sibling in question is opposing it.
Right. Like,
Because
why
when
wouldn't
they're
you
like,
want that?
you're not supposed to date for reasons, like, I don't like it in, like, the kissing booth.
Yeah.
Because they base it off of, like,
It's like a jealousy.
a rule they wrote in this little
Yeah.
list. They were like, you never date my brother, and it's like, no, but what about the rules of the list? And it's like, that's not
Right.
This is
children.
a non-issue.
Yeah.
But then I really like the forbidden element of it in something like, have you seen The Edge of 17?
Yeah.
The main character is the one who has her sibling dating her friend. And I understand why she doesn't like it, because it's like, that's my friend, and now you guys are gonna spend time together, and I'll be not there, and it would just be kind of weird. I feel like the other reason I like it is, like, we haven't gotten there yet. I have unrequited love. Usually siblings best friend is an unrequited love to lovers thing, which I enjoy.
Yeah.
I like if one is crushing on the other and then, like, something turns in their relationship.
Right.
But I still wouldn't put it up here with these ones, but I'm thinking some would agree, but I don't think you're as gung-ho, so should we put it in dispute?
Yeah. I mean, I have nothing against the sibling best friend. I think in concept, it's very cute.
But you just haven't read much of it?
I just don't, I haven't read
You don't seek it out?
Yeah.
Single parent.
Like, as a
love interest. My exposure to this would be, like, Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wouldn't say I'm big on it, because they're usually, like, a widow or a widower, and not that those people do not deserve to have their love stories told. It just makes me sad. You know what I read, because I've been reading all the Nicholas Sparks books? Message in a Bottle is one where the main character, Teresa, has a son, and then she goes off to meet this guy who she found the message in the bottle of. But she's, like, on vacation for most of the book, so, like, she'll just mention her son, and, like, in that case, I didn't really like it, because I was like, she would talk about how she worked so hard for her son and she loved her son so much, but because he wasn't like a real character who was like around most of the time, it felt very like afterthought-ish. Like I feel like if you're going to be a single parent, the relationship between the kid and the love interest should really, there should be time put into it.
Yeah, I agree. I think we could put like on somewhat disagree maybe, because
neither of us are seeking it out, but
oh, slow burn, top tier. Yeah,
slow burn is like
top tier.
It's another one where I feel like
I don't show up.
Yeah, where it didn't show up. It's another one where I feel like it's necessary, like banter, where like I don't want to say fast burns can never be good, but
it's like
I would if I had to bet on what would be better generally.
Yeah.
It's a slow burn. Slow burn is my jam.
Yeah. Well, like I said, like this, the tension, the build up, that's like, I'm like, oh, as I read, you know?
I'm also, as somebody who's a friend with like, who's a fan of like friends with benefits and stuff, I can't accept when there isn't like a waiting the entire time.
But I also feel like the climax of a lot of romances is the getting together.
Yeah.
And so like, even if it's a standalone book, like for how long that book is, it's relatively slow to get to that point.
Because that's the other thing about slow burn, is I feel like there can be different parts of the relationship that are slow burning. So like maybe they are hooking up from the beginning, but they still have a slow burn like romance, don't have the slow burn affection.
Yeah.
Like some part of it has to be a slow
burn.
Or
even they can have the affection really fast, but slow burn to act on it, or the commitment. Yeah, like
there needs to be something that builds slowly.
Yeah, that there has to be building in your story.
Soulmates.
I love soulmates.
So I wrote it like soulmates because like I just to like separate mates, because there are like books where they literally mate. Like
Akatar's, that's your mate.
But then there are like soulmate, because actually I haven't read very many mating stuff like werewolf stories or Akatar.
I've read a lot.
But I have read soulmate AUs, so alternate universes, where like you have a countdown on your wrist to when you meet your soulmate. Yeah. Or you see color when you meet your soulmate.
Yeah, I've seen the stuff like that.
And the thing about stuff like that, I feel like I like it against my better judgment, because I as I'm reading them, I'm thinking this isn't real. This is love is about commitment and learning, but then I'm also like, oh, they belong together. There's a red string of fate tying them together. Cute. That's how I feel. I like it despite myself.
I don't know, because like when I am reading books where there is like a fated mate for that person, and so then you're like trying to find the clues, and you're like, are they mates, are they not? Like,
oh, interesting. Like a mystery.
Yeah. Or because like an Akatar, like that there's mates and they're supposed to be equals, and I love the idea of that in Akatar where the mates are supposed to be like equals.
They didn't even really introduce the concept of mates. I've only read the first
we need to convince Julia to read the rest of that. I mean, if we're looking at like a list of like, okay, here's the tropes, and they say there's fated mates, like I am interested in that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, me too. It does pique my interest as well.
I'm like, okay, who is their mate, or how does the mateship work?
I would say my interest is piqued by that as well. I'm thinking some would agree. Sports romance, just barely read one.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, not my favorite, because I've never really read sports romances before until I read like 2 recently from the same series. I read Floored and Focused. They just seem like definitely for people who really their type is athletes. Yeah, and my type is like athletes.
Sports.
I don't like sports.
See, because I love a sports romance.
Okay,
but I don't love a sports romance because it's sports. Like I love that aspect, and like it makes a lot of sense to me because I love sports. But like I love a sports romance because it's a fake dating sports romance, or because it's an enemies to lovers sports
like
romance.
It's just
right. Like the sports part of it is just
a setting.
It's just a setting.
Okay, yeah, let's put it here then. Star-crossed lovers.
This is like forbidden romance, though?
Not the exact same, because forbidden can be like these people don't want them together for a certain reason, whereas star-crossed is like I mean, it references stars as in your fate, so star-crossed would mean, like, ill-fated. So it can also be, like, probably one where, like, you know a character's dying in the end. Like, I don't know, I would consider The Fault in Our Stars star-crossed lovers sort of deal. Because I would also still consider Katniss and Peeta star-crossed, even though they don't have a sad ending. Well, it's bittersweet, but they do end up together because they, for a time, believe that they're ill-fated in the sense that they can't really end up together.
I like happy endings.
Well, like, they can end up happily. They just have to not think they can.
Yeah. Because, yeah, like, I've read stories where that's the case. And, like, I have one in mind, but I don't want to say which one it is because it's a huge spoiler in the book, but they're star-crossed.
Oh, okay.
And they literally call it that.
My mind immediately goes to Katniss and Peeta because they're referred to as star-crossed. Like, I guess that couple is. Bly Manor, Danny and Jamie, and I love them so much. But they're star-crossed in the sense that she's gonna be taken by the beast and live at Bly Manor. And I love them. And I'm kind of just a defender of, like, tragic endings and stuff in general.
Yeah, and I don't like it. I can appreciate a sad ending and, like, what, like, the art that is, but when I'm looking for a book, I like happy ending.
I'm thinking I feel positively about it, but not, like, up here, like, more here. Are you thinking you feel negatively about it?
Yeah,
like,
more,
here?
Like, somewhat disagree, yeah.
So, a dispute. Oh, we're almost done.
Oh.
Teacher-student. I kind of, to be honest, included this one just to have another thing to hate.
Yeah, I think it's different. Like, teacher-student versus professor-student is
I think this includes professor-student.
Because, like, professor-student, I've read multiple books that I love that are that
Oh,
trope.
Really? Because my thought was, I'm only morally bothered by, like, high school, but, like, in professor, I'm not morally bothered, but I still don't, like, love it. Yeah.
I've read The Love Hypothesis, the fake dating.
That's a professor-student?
But it's a master's, like, doctor. It's not her undergrad.
So that's a difference that matters to you as well?
Yeah. Like, for me, it depends. How big is the age gap between the professor and student? Like, is it,
Yeah.
But, like, high school, like, the one I immediately think of is Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah.
And that disgusts me a lot.
Yeah.
Like, if they're advertising teacher-student, I would say I strongly disagree. But there are books that are professor-student that I do enjoy.
Well, I think the thing about professor-student as well, I think about it similarly to how I think about age gaps, is sometimes there isn't, like, an ethical quandary.
Yeah.
Like, if the age gap, you're both adults and it's not that deep, like, it's fine. But that I still think, like, choosing to write your romance about a professor and student means that you are, like, trying to lean into, like, that taboo, that kink. And, like,
the kink does gross me out.
So
when they play on the kink part of it. Like, The Love Hypothesis does a really good job of trying to keep it, like, professional, and like that's not a kink. They don't like talking about the
throw the stuff off the desk and be like, for your grade.
Because that grosses me out a lot. Strongly disagree, I would say.
Alright, with exceptions of
professors.
The Love Hypothesis.
Yeah. Basically. Because, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it before I read that book, and then I actually really love that book.
Tragic ending.
I
love a tragic ending. I guess we are ranking romance tropes, and when you are going into a romance, I'm not going to seek out something that ends sadly. It happens to you sometimes. You should go see Hadestown when they come here in August, but that is a musical that, like, is dedicated to, like, the tragic ending as a concept. The whole concept is, like, in defense of tragic endings, kind of. So I really feel like artistically, I love a tragic ending, to be honest. But you don't. I don't. So should we put it in dispute?
Yeah.
Okay. Unrequited Love. It did not appear, and I knew that one wasn't going to appear. I think I had a feeling. I love Unrequited Love.
Yeah, I like it. I don't feel like there's a lot to say about it.
I'm a Stydia shipper for life. Never mind. What, do you have thoughts?
Not really.
You said you feel like there's a lot to say about it.
No, I feel like there's not a lot to say about it.
Really? You know what? Probably the one example of unrequited love to lovers that I'm not wild about. Well, actually, I just thought of two. The 16 Candles romance. She has a crush on this guy, and then they don't interact, and then he shows up at the end, and I feel like I need the interaction. I need there to be scenes together. And then Barchi in Riverdale. And to be fair, I'm not caught up on Riverdale. I think more has happened between them since I stopped watching. But like speaking exclusively about like the pilot, like season 1, I didn't like it right away because in the pilot she confesses her feelings for him, and he like politely turns her down, like, I love you as a friend. Sorry about this. I feel like that makes it like too much like of an outright rejection, and I need the crush to be like they don't know about it, they're oblivious to it, or there's like miscommunication, like they don't really know how they're feeling.
Like for me, I do not like when it's how do you say this? Unrequited.
That's how I always said it.
Unrequited, and like there's the pining. If they're like not necessarily embarrassed about it, but like they try to keep it hidden. Like they don't want the other person to know how they feel, then I like that. But if they're like pining and they're like, or be with me,
okay,
stuff
so
like
it's the same when you didn't like the word pining. You don't like desperation.
Yeah,
and I think I do. I like it to be a little desperate. And to me, it's here, but you're feeling more like
so
here.
we can put it in like somewhat agree.
No, well, if we can't agree, it's dispute.
Oh, okay.
It's fine. Will they or won't they? So this I feel like is more applicable to like a TV show.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of will they or won't they is like you really don't know.
Don't know.
But like if you're reading a romance novel, you know.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe it's applicable to like a super long series.
Yeah.
Where it goes like, oh, maybe they're doing but that's sort of a thing, is like you have to be teased about it. So like when people talk about will they or won't they, I feel like the famous examples are like Ross and Rachel.
Yeah.
But that one we were also talking about for on and off. I prefer a will they or won't they that is more like not on and off. They just have a tension that just carries through. So like that's Stydia to me. How did I forget their names? 6 of Crows.
The Inej and Kaz.
Yeah, Inej and Kaz. They to me are kind of will they or won't they, because I wasn't really confident that they were going to end up together. There's so much tension
because it goes out of both of their like missions to end up together. But they're cute.
So I would say I love a will they or won't they, as long as it's not combined with like an on and off.
Yeah,
I like it to be quieter, more about building tension, more about slow burn, and less like fighting. We can't decide about each other.
Yeah, I agree. If it's like, I don't love Ross and Rachel for that reason, where it's like
where it gets messy.
I mean, I think you put it on somewhat agree.
Yeah,
like done well. A lot of these depend on being done well. If it's just a bad book, then it doesn't matter what tropes are there.
Yeah. Oh, this is the last one. It's not really like a heavy hitter to end with. Workplace romance.
I mean, I like it. I think it falls in a lot of the same ones where it's like that's the setting. If that's the setting,
it's like a genre, it's a setting, and then you have to have other tropes in the romance.
Yeah. Is it a forbidden workplace romance? Is it friends?
You can't just have people date. And forbidden is probably a common one. I bet there's lots of age gaps because I think there are a lot of boss romances.
The power struggle.
Yeah.
Stuff.
But I can't say I don't love as a setting workplace. I wouldn't say I strongly disagree. I will put it in somewhat disagree.
Yeah, I think we can put it there.
You agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
we finished our list.
And there's only this much overlapping. That wasn't that bad.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm impressed by how negative we were.
Way to go.
Good job with negativity.
Yeah, I feel good about our top tier too.
I feel good about this. I think I will. I think I will upload these to tiermaker.com so you can make your own and tweet me it. And feel free to talk about in the comments how mad you are that we don't like mafia romance. We did probably our most unpopular opinions are the stuff we like that people love to hate, like miscommunication and love triangle. But what can I say? We are not like other girls, and we are so smart.
We are so smart.
Bye. I don't really do outros.
They just end.
Get out of here.